straight into it. Let's do it. Macros, macronutrients, what the fuck are they?
So, be the change. And if you don't want to be the change, you're not ready to be the change, then stop complaining.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the motherfucking show. Oh, I definitely just hit my knee on my desk. It's fine. So, okay, straight into it. Let's do it. Macros, macronutrients, what the fuck are they? Terrifying. These big, very scary and confusing topic, right? Wrong. Wrong. Big. Definitely big. But not scary and not confusing. At least it will not be after this podcast. Oh yeah. Okay. Macros. They are proteins, they are carbs, and they are fats. Almost every single food has all three macros in it, but each food falls into one of the three categories based on like which macro makes up the majority of the calories in the food, basically. So like bread is a carb. Does it have protein and fat in it? Yes. Is it a protein or a fat? No. Peanut butter is a fat. Does it have carbs and proteins in it? Yes. Is it a carb or a protein? No. You get it. Let's start with carbs, okay? Let's just get it out of the way so you can stop wondering that very common question. Are carbs bad for you? Do carbs make you fat? Yes. Kidding. No. They aren't. They are not bad for you, and no, they do not make you fat. Okay. Let's do some science stuff right now. So, carbs are your body's main source of energy. Am I gonna do this? Okay, I'm gonna do this. There are three energy systems in your body. Okay. The phosphocreatine system, the lactic acid system, and the oxidative system. The lactic acid system and the oxidative system, those ones, they take carbs and they turn them into glycogen. That process is called anaerobic glycolysis. Did I need to say that word? No. Did it make me sound smart? Abso-fucking-lutely. The oxidative system is the only one we care about today because it's the one that fuels your body for the longest. The phosphocreatine system can fuel your body for like 10 seconds. The lactic acid system for like 2 minutes. But the oxidative system can keep you going for up to 90 minutes. And this is all in the context of exercise. If you aren't exerting yourself significantly, then your body is in sort of a slow burn mode, and it's pulling from your fat stores, which we will talk about when we talk about fats. So carbs fuel everything, even your brain. And carbs are in almost every single food. Besides, so like meat doesn't have any carbs, oils don't have any carbs. Carbs are in fruits, they're in veggies, they're in milk. Carbs are fucking everywhere. They're the most common nutrient in our diet besides water. Yeah. The thing that's gonna make you fat though is the sugar. There are very different types of carbs. You got complex carbs, you got simple sugars, monosaccharides, all these fucking fancy words. Look, you know what's healthy and what's not. Banana, carb. Healthy, yes. Donut, carb. Healthy, no. We're not gonna go into the science of all the different carbs and what they do and where they go and how they get there. I don't wanna fire hose you. So the simple solution here is eat recognizable foods. Eat foods that don't have 36 items listed on the ingredients label. And the ones that are listed, you can pronounce them. So yeah. How to read a nutrition label will also be an episode. Okay. So fats. We're on to fats. We did the carbs, we're on to fats. Fats. So fat in the body does different things than fat that you get from your diet. Your body doesn't need fat from your diet to help with the inside jobs, similar to the one on September 11th, 2001. Because it can just synthesize fat from other things like carbs and proteins. Fat in the body is like, it's like a storage unit for energy. It keeps us warm, it protects our organs, it regulates your hormones, it helps your brain send messages throughout the rest of your body. Was that boring? I bet. Let's dive just a little deeper into this really quick though. I promise I will try to make it unboring. So while carbs are your body's main source of immediate energy, recall the whole glycogen thing and the smart guy word, carbs are bulky because they contain a lot of water, so you can't store it for very long. And if you recall, when I was talking about those three systems, the longest amount of time one of those energy systems can could go for, can feel your body, was up to 90 minutes. But that's, again, in the context of exercise. Your body can only store carbs for 1 to 2 days before it puts it into fat stores if you don't use it, i.e. exercise. But fats, on the other hand, can hold a lot more energy for a lot longer period of time. It doesn't have water in it, so it packs more energy into a smaller space. 1 gram of fat can hold more than double the energy that 1 gram of a carb can. That's what I meant when I said fat is used like a slow burn. It's used for the energy you need for basic shit, like walking somewhere or making dinner or over extended period of time, kind of like everyday living stuff. This whole system exists, again, because of our starving caveman ancestors. When they didn't have food, they had fat to keep them alive. So, carbs are used for ready-to-go energy, immediate, last-minute, always-on-deck energy. Fats are used for everything else. And then with the whole regulating hormones and helping the brain send messages, that's obviously super important, and I don't really need to say much about it. Protecting our organs, important, self-explanatory, keeps you warm, makes sense. It provides a thicker layer between the outside world and your inside stuff. But this little tidbit right here is what's important for you weight-wise. Fat cells are able to expand indefinitely in size. Cue segue into fat that you get from your diet. Fats that you eat do 3 main things. They help you feel fuller for longer because they take a lot of time to digest. There are 2 essential amino acids that you can only get from fats that you ingest. The rest of the essential amino acids can be produced by the body, but the 2 that can't are linoleic acid and alpha-linoleic acid. And fat also helps your body to absorb vitamins. They also contain a ton of vitamins, so they're definitely a necessity in your diet. Now back to that terrifying statement I made. Fat cells are able to expand indefinitely in size. Fats that you get from foods are either saturated or unsaturated. Saturated fats are the bad fats. Those are your processed foods, butter, cheese, shit like that. The good fats, the unsaturated fats, are gonna be liquids like oils. Too much saturated fat can cause high cholesterol, which is bad for your heart. So we want to try to eat more unsaturated fats and less saturated fats, okay? Okay. You also don't need a lot of fat in your diet, and you don't want a lot of fat in your diet because your body won't be like, okay, we have enough fat, so we can just, shit the rest out. No, 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 no. It's gonna take whatever you give it, turn it into fatty acids, use the fatty acids that it needs, and then tuck the rest away into its fucking apocalypse bunker for the next time you don't have food for a couple weeks, which, by the way, is never gonna happen because, by the way, we don't live in the year 1. And since those fat cells can expand indefinitely in size, what does that equal? Getting fat. Exactly. So be careful not to eat too much fat while you're also eating carbs. If you're on a keto diet, that's a whole other story, but keto is not what we're talking about today, so forget I even said that. Protein, the gains macro. Protein is the easiest macro to talk about. It's a very straightforward, no bullshit type of nutrient. Protein has so many jobs in your body. Oh my God. It literally builds your hair, your nails, your organs, your bones, your muscles, and it makes all of that shit work the way that it does. It picks up the slack for the carbs and the fats, so when you're running low on energy from those 2 macros, protein will supply the energy. And this really only happens for athletes, but still, it's badass, so I wanted to mention it. It helps you build muscle, so while you're losing weight, you don't lose muscle at the same time so long as you're eating a high protein diet. It strengthens your bones, which can be a preventative measure for osteoporosis, and lowers your chances of breaking a bone as you get older. It boosts your immune system, it curbs cravings, it burns fat by boosting your metabolism, it lowers your blood pressure, it helps heal injuries. It is the coolest part of your body. And the coolest thing ever is that whatever protein your body doesn't need after it's done all its work, you just pee it out. Your body can digest and utilize up to 35 grams of protein in one sitting. Now, there are naysayers about this statement, and I'll tell you why, and you can decide whether or not you agree. So, the way we humans discovered that the body eliminates excess protein is by some science people studying pee. They saw that when someone ate a lot of protein, there were higher levels of nitrogen in their pee. Nitrogen is in protein. So, blah, 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 some science stuff, blah. They concluded that after a certain amount of protein intake, the body excretes the rest. But then some other science people were like, fuck you, that probably just means the body dumps excess nitrogen, because there are also other elements in protein, like carbon and hydrogen and oxygen. So, nobody is entirely sure. But whether or not it's true, and since we don't fucking know, why don't you just play it safe and eat like 35 grams of protein per meal? But whatever, do whatever you want. Whew, wow, okay. So that was your crash course on what macros are. Now I'm going to spend just a little time on how many of each macro you need. So this is macro splits. Macro splits vary depending on your goal. I feel like I'm going to be making that statement a lot in this podcast, but that's the nature of the beast, so fuck it, let's do it. So think about it like this. You need energy to complete something, anything. How much energy is dependent on what you're trying to complete. I told you I was going to say it a lot. So if you are trying to bulk, you need to be eating more calories than you burn and working out. Again, there's going to be an episode dedicated to bulking, so do not worry. But so if you're bulking and working out a lot, you need a lot of carbs for the energy that you are expending. But you also want the muscles to get big, so you need a lot of protein. But if you can only absorb so much protein in a day, you probably don't need more protein than carbs. So by process of elimination, the majority of your calories should come from carbs, then proteins, and since we only need a little bit of fat in our diets, that would be the smallest amount of calories. So that macro split would look something like 50% of calories from carbs, 30% from proteins, and 20% from fats. If you're trying to lose weight, your macro split could look identical to the one that I just said if you're working out, obviously, because remember that the difference between cutting and bulking is the amount of calories you're consuming. So while the percentages will be the same, the calories will be different. If you're not working out, then you're not using a ton of energy, so you could switch up your carbs and proteins. So if you're cutting and you're working out a lot, you can use the same macro split as if you were bulking and working out a lot, because percentage doesn't necessarily mean the same amount of food, okay? So if you're not working out but you're still trying to lose weight, you could switch your carbs and proteins to be like 35 to 40% protein, 40 to 45% carbs. You could even do a low carb thing, do like 25% carb. Oh my god. Let's just, okay, so today, let's just stick with the 50% carbs, 30% protein, 20% fat. Okay, you know what? I'll talk about this at the end, okay? Just focus. Okay, so this time I'm gonna use some numbers to help it make more sense, okay? So let's bring our buddy Caveman Joe back into the picture. Caveman Joe wants to get fucking jacked so he can fight off the bears, okay? Joe's TDEE is 2200. Joe is a dude, he's a male, so we're gonna add 500 to his TDEE so he can bulk up, at least until we get to the bulking episode where we'll get way more technical about that, but focus. So Joe has to eat 2,700 calories a day, right? Because TDEE plus 500, 2,200 plus 500 equals 2,700, okay? And we're gonna do the 50, 30, 20 macro split. Okay, math time, ready? So you're gonna take that TDEE number, you're gonna multiply it by each percentage of the macro split. So 50% of 2,700, 30% of 2,700, 20% of 2,700. So after you math, you'll find that Caveman Joe needs 1,350 calories from carbs, 810 calories from proteins, 540 calories from fats. Now, just because we know how many calories he needs of each doesn't really help us, because all foods have all macros in them. Almost all foods have almost all macros in them. I try not to make definitive, statements, because then someone's gonna be like, nah, you're a liar, fraud, bleh. So almost all foods have almost all macros in them, okay? So that's why the calories don't really help us. We need to figure out how many calories are coming from each macronutrient. So we have to convert the calories into grams of each macro, so more math. There are 4 calories in 1 gram of carbohydrate. There are 4 calories in 1 gram of protein. There are 9 calories in 1 gram of fat. Remember when I said 1 gram of fat can hold more than double the energy a gram of carbohydrate can? A calorie is a unit of energy, so that's why it's different, and that's why fat has more calories in it than the others. So Joe has 1,350 calories coming from carbs, divided by 4, that's 338 grams of carbs. 810 calories from proteins, divided by 4, 203 grams of protein. 540 calories of fat, divided by 9, 60 grams of fat. So that's what Caveman Joe would eat to get huge and kill the bear. But his wife, cavewoman Jane, is fat because she had 5 babies and she just totally sits on her ass while Joe goes out and gets all the food. And she wants to lose weight because she wants to be hot for her husband. Jane's TDEE is the same as Joe's, 2200. But Jane isn't trying to bulk, she's trying to cut. And since Jane is a female, she is going to eat 300 calories less than her TDEE, which would be 1900. She's going to follow the same macro split, 50-30-20, but her numbers are going to come out to 950 calories from carbs, where Joe's was 1,350, 570 calories from protein, where Joe's was 810, and 380 calories from fat, where Joe's was 540. So you see how the percentages might be the same, but because the total calories are different, the calories in grams of each macro are going to be different. Oh, fuck, that was a lot. That was a lot. I hope that wasn't super confusing. So, okay, so in short, you need a lot of carbs for energy, you need a lot of protein for muscle growth, and you need fats for like overhaul, health, and efficiency, and also energy. 50% carb, 30% protein, 20% fat is a solid macro split. Anyone can use it for any goal, but you gotta play around with it and figure out what works for you. Everybody's body, every body is different. And that's what I kind of just like totally tweaked out on towards the middle, where I was like, fuck you, never mind, I'll tell you at the end. There's people like, okay, one of my best friends, my best friend, she is a fucking machine. She's the most fit girl I've ever seen in my life. She eats like shit. All she eats are carbs. All she eats are carbs. She doesn't like vegetables. She won't eat vegetables, but she eats a ton of carbs all day. Bread, croissants, bread. But she's fucking jacked. And then I had a client not too long ago who I had her on the 50-30-20, and she was gaining weight like a mad woman. So we took her down to like 25% carb and then the other macros like something else. And it worked perfectly for her. So she needed a low carb diet. That's just what her body wanted. Nutrition is such a fucking just finicky bitch, dude. Everybody is so different. That's why it gets so confusing on the internet. That's why when you read one article that swears by keto or swears by intermittent fasting or swears by the carnivore diet, like there's so many people swearing to so many different things because nothing is a one size fits all when it comes to nutrition. So that's why you have to have patience with nutrition. You have to, because I can tell you generally what works generally for people generally, but even that might not work for you. So you gotta be patient and play around with it. Or hit me up, because I'm literally a personal trainer and nutrition coach, so if you really want like solid help and me to like science it out with you, more than happy to. Also, if you guys have any questions or you want me to elaborate on anything or whatever, you can shoot me a DM on Instagram or Facebook or email or whatever social platform, I don't care. My link tree has all my contact info on it. It's Lima, Indigo, Normandy? I actually don't know. Okay. Kilo, Tango, Romeo, dot, Echo, Echo, backslash, B like bee, T like the, C like change, F like fit, I like it, T like tango. Link tr.ee /BTC fit. Also, if you have any topics you want me to cover, send me a message. I would love to know what you guys want to hear about. And maybe if enough people send in questions, I can start doing Q&A episodes. That would be so fun. Okay, tune in next week for some more super dope, magic, fun, health stuff.